Now, where would we be without light bulbs? Well, it's thanks to Joseph Swan that we've got them in the first place, not Thomas Edison. Let's have a look at a range of light bulbs spanning quite a few years really in their design and how they work. So there's three main sets here. These are the sort of more modern ones, the LED lights that we're all familiar with as energy saving lights today. In the middle we've got these ones which are fluorescent lights. These are all based on sort of a basic tube idea, but it's been changed in shape over the years, and you can get a variety of different types of those. Let's have a look at that one. So that's from a street lamp. So it's a huge great fluorescent light. The fluorescent part's in the very centre there. And then the original lamp, which is a filament lamp. So filament lamps on this side, fluorescent lamps in the centre, then LED lamps, and that's the three main sort of categories of lamp. There are others missing from this list. Some quite dangerous ones, which were used in homes for a short while, but didn't last because of safety. But let's have a really close look at some of the filament lamps. So if you have a very close look inside of this lamp, well, you've got to look through the glass bulb first, and of course glass is a vitally important part of any bulb. Some of these ones, well, even these filament lamps as they're called, can be frosted, and that helps sort of spread the light and make it less intense at the centre, but spread the light round. And that's what lots of modern lights, including LED lights, do. But this is very close to what original lamps were. And you can see this the lovely way in which this one's been formed with that little pip on the end as the glass bulb's been made. It's a fascinating process, making the bulbs, a real engineering problem solving sort of task. And the science of how it works is more complex, but still simple by today's standards, but more complex than you probably thought. So glass bulb, then we've got metal contacts. This is rather an old one. This will be probably from the 20s, 30s, something like that. And then two metal contacts underneath, and they lead through the metal part and an insulated part into the glass part in the very centre. So there's a glass stem in the centre of this one, and then it divides off, and this has got two tiny little very fine filaments. So a filament is just a word that describes a fine wire that's inside it, and when the electricity passes through the contacts up the stem into the filament, it glows very brightly. So that doesn't sound very complicated at all. So let's have a close look at the filament. I'll just rotate it there. So right on the edge of my fingertip there, these bottom thick wires are the holders, and then the filament is attached there, and we might just be able to, if I can get the focus correct. Difficult to see. Bring my finger in here and see if it'll focus on my finger. The filament is actually a very fine curled wire, a bit like spiral wire, a bit like a pig's tail. But there are two of them, one on the left there and one on the right, with a central wire support. And there's the two little filaments. So let's have a look at it on a different type of bulb. There's a more modern spotlight bulb there, and that's got a little glass capsule inside it. And the little glass capsule right at the very centre has got the filament in it. Around the outside we've got the shiny reflector, so this would shine its light in a beam one way only, rather than in a conventional lamp where the light just spreads out from the centre. So people have come up with all sorts of designs. This one we might just get away with seeing the filament in this one, and it's in this little capsule here right on my fingertip. And if I tap it, you can see it all wobble. And that's because this filament
has been destroyed. It's gone past its sort of lifetime, and eventually the filament burned out and it's actually broken. So that's why it's falling apart in the center there. So there's the little filament wire there. Again, very difficult to show you on this one, but it's a very, very fine spiral of wire. And then this one, hopefully we'll see it on this one. This type of light bulb, well, it's sort of not really a light bulb, but it works on exactly the same principle. It's got this huge great reflector on it. I'm trying to be as careful as I can with this one because the filament is very long and very delicate, and it's just hanging in the air sort of thing. So if I try and get in close to that one, right in the very center, you've got this completely, there it is, just to the side there, a filament which goes, it's a spiral again, so it's round and round and round and round, and it hooks on in between one connection after another. There you can just see the spiral there. You can just see it. Oh, there we are. There we are. Just there. And it goes all the way around. So it's a great big long spiral of wire. And this type of lamp isn't really for making light, although it glows, a lovely orangey yellow colour. It's for making radiant heat. Well, all filaments do that. They make radiant heat, except if we can get that filament to glow really, really brightly, it will produce massive amounts of light alongside the heat. So that would be called an infrared lamp, although it produces reddy orange light as well. So there's our main classes of lamp. This is an interesting one, of course. Just about every modern light now uses these gigantic, great long strips, because you get a lovely spread of light from them by having a continuous row of these tiny little LEDs. So this would be in an LED tube, and the actual tube length, they just make the circuit board that it's on as long as you need, with as many LEDs as you need, so they can be 6 foot, 8 foot long. So that's like 2 meters, 2.4 meters long, which is quite incredible really. So when you look at this compared to a little light bulb, so there's the light bulb there, and you can see that's quite a few light bulbs long. But of course the design's such that it's really flat, so incorporating it into a container to spread the light is different. It's a different sort of solution to the problem. Fabulous. So that's the first part, different types of light bulbs.